him in.
You let a stranger in the house?
He was
Are
terrified.
you a simpleton?
Welcome back to another episode of Ben and Chris mildly disappoint our audience of 2.
Yep, it's great. Did you know that the first podcast has 23 views?
By whom?
No,
Your girlfriend?
I don't.
You?
Probably. Yeah, just keep refreshing the page until it comes up again and again. So, if I sound a little bit more solemn than I did the last time, it's because right before I walked in, my phone just straight up shit itself.
Oh, sorry. Walked into the office. We have an office, by the way. We from all the money we've made off this podcast so far. We decided to
all 23 of you, you've been excellent patrons.
Yeah, we got Bill Gates, Post Malone, Elon Musk, and
this is really just the biggest podcast on the internet. Only
Hannah Baker to all invest.
We got Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah, we got a lot of big investors.
Oh yeah, big spenders.
Support our luxurious lifestyle. This is a Gucci microphone we're recording this on.
It's actually gold. If it sounds like weird, if it sounds obstructed, it's because there's diamonds.
There's diamonds into the holes on the mesh.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
just the best.
The topic of this episode is your favorite meme on Instagram, Birdbox.
Oh, it's the best.
I've seen way too many memes of this.
You just got an Instagram, by the way.
I know, but
at Ben Newbeck. Follow at Ben Newbeck.
I'm going to shoot you in the head. Anyway, did you get your blindfold? Because we're doing this blindfolded. We don't want to.
Oh, good.
We don't want to die.
For those of you who can't see this, that would be everybody. We're just using napkins. So before we get into that, though, so I have a Samsung S7. If anyone out there is listening and knows how to fix the black screen of death.
Chris, why are you advertising this on our podcast?
I don't know, because I need help, god damn it.
There's maybe 23 people.
Good point.
And
valid point.
No one's going to A, want to help you, and B, this is our podcast about Birdbox.
That's true. Yeah, from now on, it's just the Birdbox podcast.
But also fix Chris's phone.
Yeah,
that's what that's going to be the overarching plot. So, Chris, tell me, what did you think about Birdbox?
Oh God, that was I feel like half of it was really good and half of it was just not.
Right? So the movie is about 2 hours long, I think.
Yeah, it's like 2 hours, 4 minutes.
Yeah, it's like 2 hours. Let's just call it 2 hours.
Yeah.
For the first 30 minutes, I was super into Birdbox. I was like, this is interesting. I like where this is going. Let's see what we can do with this. I want to know what happens. And then it keeps going with nothing changing until it just ends.
Yeah.
Because what they have to do is there's 2 climaxes. There's the shootout with the infected, and then there's also going down the river.
I feel like it's a movie that wanted to be 2 different things.
Well, no, they didn't think about this well. They established in the beginning that she's going down a river. And that has its own entire build-up and climax and resolution and shit. Yeah. But also, the main story also has all those elements aside from a resolution. No, it kind of has a resolution. They get on the boat.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry about that. So. Yeah, I'm stuck in crisis mode with my damn phone. But yeah, no, I feel like the stuff on the boat was so much more compelling, I guess.
No, I hated the stuff on the boat. I hated most stuff past the setup.
Yeah.
The setup was the most interesting because you watched people killing themselves.
It's based off a book, by the way, which I find interesting. People are saying, "Oh, this is just a rip-off of The Quiet Place." It's like, no, the book came out in 4 years ago.
Yeah, I know, but it's a rip-off of The Quiet Place.
Yeah.
But,
the person who wrote the book is actually a time traveler. I don't know who wrote the book, but he or she was living in 2018 and just traveled back to 2014 after seeing A Quiet Place and was like, I'm gonna beat them to it, and they didn't really have the resources.
But
to,
they didn't want to like copy. They didn't want to like steal any copyrighted stuff. This
Of
was
course.
probably in production for a while. So like, if you you can't make noise. What about if you can't use your eyes? Yeah, but they had to interweave these two plots of the boat and in the house. And then you kind of know what's already going to happen after the house, so you have to assume something happens. So, like, after the second they established the boat, it was no longer, like, tense, because I know everyone was going to die.
Yeah,
I knew that.
Like, yeah, good point. Like, it basically tells you everything's gonna happen before it even begins.
Yeah.
Like the second they introduced Olympia, and I was like, oh, she's pregnant. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but, like, they didn't...
Those are the two kids.
Like, if they never did the scene where she gets, the, what's it called? Not a mammogram, what the fuck?
The sonogram?
Yeah, the sonic... I think it's a sonogram, don't ask me. But,
whatever the hell it was.
They didn't establish twins, so you knew she was gonna die and take the child. I knew that. I just couldn't remember because I took like a break between the first 30 minutes and the other hour and a half.
Oh, really?
And I couldn't remember if like she had twins or not, but like
I think she was only carrying one.
Yeah, she was only carrying one, and then they just
they made it really obvious that the twins were not hers. First off, she calls them boy and girl.
Yeah, but like also one of them is her own child.
Yeah, exactly. Like so. Okay, for those of you who haven't seen Birdbox, we basically just went into this whole conversation without even, like, elaborating on what it is.
No, we got right into spoilers, so spoilers.
Yeah, no, spoiler alert, everybody. So
yeah, no, we're just assuming you've seen Birdbox. We should probably record something and be like, watch Birdbox before you watch this.
Oh, no, we're not doing that. I'm far too lazy. So,
I feel like we should do that.
Okay.
Anyway.
Alright. Well, maybe we will.
Literally just a
maybe
clip.
we won't.
It's like a minute clip.
The point is, Birdbox, it's on Netflix. If you haven't heard of it, you've heard of it.
The concept is very simple.
Yeah.
There are these monsters. If you look at them, you're compelled by either beauty or horror to kill yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And then people are stuck in a house avoiding these monsters.
It's basically a movie that's split between two different timelines. The first timeline is like shortly after the outbreak, and they're in like is it John Malkovich's house they're just chilling in, or is it some other guy's house?
I think it's the gay dude's house.
Okay, so
or is he has an Asian lover, and then
B.D. Wong.
Yeah, and then he dates the main protagonist.
Yep.
God, what's her name?
Sandra Bullock.
I see her in everything.
Isn't Sandra Bullock just Sandra Bullock in everything?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I'm just like, oh, it's Sandra Bullock, not, oh man, I wonder what character she's playing.
Yeah, no.
Well, that's besides the point.
Well, like, they made sure to say her name enough.
She's still so hot.
I've always thought that, like, I've seen comparisons saying that she looks like Michael Jackson in Birdbox, and I'm like,
no, I don't care about that. I mean,
like Michael Jackson near the end, not like early.
Old Jackson.
Yeah, old Jackson. So, yeah, I much prefer the stuff and like, I feel like half the movie is trying to be The Mist, and the other half of the movie is trying to be It Comes at Night, or A Quiet Place, and it doesn't really know how to be either one. Like.
The Mist? Kind of The Mist. Yeah,
because they're all trying to survive, and the part where they go to the grocery store, there's a part where they they need supplies, and they go to this grocery store.
Oh, is this Birdbox?
Yeah, we're talking about Birdbox.
Okay, because you're just talking
about. And that
about
reminded me of The Mist, because in The Mist they're all like camped out at that grocery store.
Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't stay in the grocery. That old man's plan was so much better. Like, why didn't they just get the black dude to drive all the way back? Pick some bitches up and everyone go to, like, all they have to do is kill that one dude that's, like, against the freezer door.
Pretty much, yeah. And
like, if there's 12 of them, just open the door, let them in, and let them...
And it's not like they don't have weapons. I mean, Sandra Bullock was, like, wielding the shotgun for, like, half the movie.
A pregnant lady was holding a shotgun for most of the movie.
Exactly.
And she, like, smacked Olympia in the face with the butt, which is also very fun. It's funny to watch it.
I think by far my favorite scene in the entire movie is when Olympia lets Gary into the house. It's a total comedy of errors.
Also,
because everyone starts flipping their shit, and like Olympia's like, "Shut up, Olympia."
Oh no, not wait. who's Sandra Bullock's character?
Mallory.
Mallory was like, "Shut up, Olympia."
Yeah.
And like elbows her away while she's holding a shotgun at
And then
Gary.
John Malkovich comes in. He's like, "You let someone in the house? Are you a simpleton?" It's great.
I love John Malkovich.
I'm gonna put that in the description of this.
Are you a simpleton?
Hell, I might just put that in the intro.
Exactly, the opening clip.
Exactly.
Anyway, fuck, what were we talking about?
We were talking about the part where Olympia lets the dude into the house.
Okay, but first, could you not, that, like, I could tell from a distance that his eyes were gross.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't hard to see that, A, they were contact lenses, and B, he had gross eyes.
Are we talking? Yeah, we're talking about the guy that she lets in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he always had really wide eyes all the time, so you could see his entire iris.
I feel like people like I don't know. It's one of those movies where, like, the second they introduce a plot beat, you know exactly where it's gonna go, like 5 steps ahead of time.
It's really predictable.
Like the second they let Gary in, he's like, "Oh no, the patients, they escaped from the insane asylum and they were trying to make people see the monsters because the monsters are letting them see."
I knew
and it's like, great, you're gonna do that now.
Yeah, because they already set up that there are people outside who can look at the monsters and want people to look at the monsters.
Yeah, I did like the scene though on the boat where the creepy guy is like, "Hey kids, you ever seen a baby deer?"
Yeah, that was
cool.
good because that happened before Gary.
Yeah,
I think that was the first encounter. I don't think they went to the supermarket at that point.
No. Well, this is when she's on the boat and she's with the kids.
No. But like in the movie runtime, I don't think they had gone to the supermarket yet.
No. It was very early on.
Yeah, it was very early on, so it was a really good setup, and you're like, whoa, what the hell? Why is this guy, what's going on?
Exactly.
And it was good mystery, but then, like, they had the supermarket scene, and you knew people
exactly where it was gonna go.
Yeah, but, like, okay, like, they had to establish that it is dangerous.
Yeah.
And then,
Also,
there was the scene with Gary, which I was like, okay, wouldn't you be like, something happened? Like, has no one seen the eyes change? Like, it's a visual change.
Yeah,
your eyes go cloudy and you kill yourself.
Not even that. Like, your eyes, they don't even go cloudy. They do, but they change color.
Like they change color and shit.
Like they go completely
So like, wouldn't
tan.
you like look at that dude at like Gary's creepy neon aqua eyes and be like, okay, that dude's definitely infected?
Yeah, no. What really pissed me off was like John Malkovich is the only one who's like being rational. He's like, you're letting this guy in.
Everyone should listen to John. He made no wrong decisions, and then he was also the good guy after everyone dicked him.
And then also, yeah, exactly. Like the old lady just bashes him over the head with like the pot.
Yeah,
and they throw him in the garage.
Like, what are you doing? Just be like, yo, you gotta relax. This is our friend Gary. We're gonna see what's up. And they don't even question Gary. They just assume he's perfectly fine, even though he was walking around without a blindfold. He didn't have a blindfold when he came in.
Yeah.
Like,
what did you think of the of like the fact that they were hinting that the monster is possibly like a Lovecraftian type thing?
Oh, I think that's fine.
I thought that was cool.
I think that's fine.
I was definitely a fan of that because like.
I mean, the art was low-key kind of, like, child. It looked like a teenager's art.
Oh, of course, yeah.
What's the actor's name that played Gary?
I don't even know.
Got it.
Just guy.
British dude.
British man.
Yeah, and he whipped out this art, and it looks like a teenager's edgy-ass...
Yeah, it looks like it looks like someone's deviant art.
Yeah.
It
looks like a deviant art, and, like, you uploaded scans or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't, like, the best, but, like, we got, like, the idea that it was just some horror.
Yeah, it was like part of what I liked most about it though was that I don't know, I just like it made the most sense for it to be like a Cthulhu Lovecraft thing because I've never read any Lovecraft. But I have the
audiobook.
Do you?
You all can make fun of me that I own audiobooks.
Oh no, hang on. We talked about this last time when you were like touching on the fact that like it was like Lovecraftian horror.
Yeah.
And like that makes sense because like if it's like a ghost or something or like something really contrived, it's like, oh yeah,
if none of you understand what Lovecraftian horror is, in Cult of Cthulhu, I think Cult of Cthulhu.
It's Call of actually.
Call of
I
Cthulhu.
haven't even read any of them.
Okay, whatever. I don't own the book. I own the audiobook. But in Call of Cthulhu, basically these people get on a boat and they follow Cthulhu into the ocean. And then they fall into the fourth dimension, and their minds can't perceive what they're seeing, and when they get back, they all go insane and kill themselves.
I actually would have much preferred. Yeah, that makes the most sense. It's kind of what it's like. It's like done, only it's done in like millisecond to second form. Like when Sarah Paulson is possessed, like the sister is possessed at the start of the movie. It's like 2 seconds.
Yeah, and then the second I saw that chick in, I think it was like an orangey brownish coat, and she's looking
in the hospital.
Yeah,
yeah.
I was like, she's gonna kill herself.
Yeah,
and like that was like a good way to start. But like everyone just started killing themselves, and there was explosions, and like the first 10, 15,
I'm gonna be
20 minutes were like, whoa, what the hell?
I mean, Sandra Bullock's story is interesting, and it's the whole like thing about motherhood, and I get that it's a metaphor for her like becoming a mother and all that. But I really wanted to see how the fucking hospital staff dealt with all that.
They killed themselves.
No, not all of them. I would have loved to have seen like a hospital staff trying to like prevent people from killing themselves left and right. Just like a doctor and like a nurse just running around trying to catch people.
Oh my god, there's all these people. Why do they keep trying to bite their tongues off? Quick, cut their tongues out before they can try.
There's like one scene in the waiting room, everyone's like freaking the fuck out. It would have been
There's one therapist. Do you have suicidal thoughts or actions? They start smashing their head against a glass table. Like, okay, so it's a yes.
So another thing that I really appreciated about Bird Box was that it established its rules really well. Like,
don't look at it,
no.
And then maybe if sometimes you look at it, you become a gross-eyed monster boy.
Well, okay, like I'm not saying the rules are perfect. I'm saying that it's like they're interesting and they're told over time, and it's not just like a big exposition dump.
Oh, like that whiteboard in.
Mm-hmm. I was expecting like John Malkovich just set everyone down and he'd be like, "All right, guys, here's the deal about the monsters." It's like they all figure it out together.
They're all kind of in the dark, and they're like, "Okay, birds freak the hell out."
It's kind of weird. It's kind of like what I like about early Walking Dead, like the first season of Walking Dead, when they all kind of figure like the rules of the world out together, because then everyone gets to like view this new world through the lens of the protagonist. Granted, it's not anything new or groundbreaking, or even that original, but it's a good way to like tell an apocalypse story. It's really the only way you can. Next, I mean, like,
then things get explained, and then they get boring.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
The second you explain why an apocalypse happened, it becomes less interesting.
Yeah,
like,
it's
now these people just have to survive.
I'd also kind of. Did you ever see Night of the Living Dead? Like the original Night of the Living Dead? Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that too when they were in the house.
What?
Yeah, like that mixture of people.
No one. Oh, okay, the mixture. I was like, there's nothing banging on the walls.
No.
From the outside.
Well, no, like
other than these. Ass looking.
In Night of the Living Dead, like the threat really comes at the end, kind of like how it does in like with the house storyline.
Yeah.
Like the zombies in this case being like Cthulhu. I'm just gonna call it Cthulhu. In this case, just being Cthulhu, he just shows up and
what it do?
I'm gonna fuck your bitch. And then Gary is just like showing them everything and all that. And then in Night of the Living Dead, the zombies show up and they just tear everyone apart.
I wish Gary was like an actual ambassador and got people to convert. That would have been way funnier if he was just like, have you ever looked at it? And they're like, you can't look at it, you kill yourself. And he's like, that's not true.
One thing I
wanted him to convince Olympia, and mostly I wanted to watch a baby commit suicide. I know that's a horrible thing to say, but they teased it all throughout the movie. I mean, and I never got to see it.
Would the baby just like roll out?
I don't know. It can't even lift its own head up. It doesn't have teeth to bite it. How would it just like what starve?
It would just forget how to breathe.
You can't like. Okay, so no one killed themselves in like biologically impossible ways.
Yeah.
Like no one just like gave themselves a heart attack. They all like shot themselves or something. So like that was a rule that was established. It had to be some actual means of the reason they died.
Exactly. Like
a car crash or whatever.
Yeah, it needed to actually be plausible.
Like you couldn't just be like, I'm gonna stop my brain.
Yeah.
So like I have no idea how. I guess the baby would have just converted and then became an ambassador for like the Mansters.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I actually would have really liked it if we'll talk about the ending later, but I really would have liked it if like it wound up that like the people, like the blind people at the end, just like the Cthulhu was like their new god.
That was the only question I was asking, and I kind of figured that was the ending.
What
about blind people?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
that
was like the obvious like solution to the problem is just be blind and
Pretty
blind
much.
yourself and then learn to be blind.
Yeah, exactly. And like that school for the blind at the end, it's like, okay, great, so now you're gonna survive. But I would have loved it if there was like a sect of blind people that was like, yeah, this is our god.
But also, why isn't like if there's like this group of blind people, why are the monsters not like conflating to destroy them? Right, because they have the
adapting to kill blind people
okay,
too?
well, no, not like just murder them, right? Like the purpose of this monster is just to get people to die.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if it's whether to because Gary kills someone by just like stabbing them. So like the whole purpose of the monster is not for people to look at it. It's for people to die.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
established.
Yeah, that's set up really
well. So, really, why didn't the monsters, if there's more than one, I assume there is, why didn't the monsters, like, get, I don't know, frickin', just, like, all their little allies with the weird eyes to just, like, gang up on the, it's full of blind people.
Yeah.
They can't really fight back.
That's also why, I don't know. I feel like if they were to ever make a sequel, which I hope they don't.
I don't. There's nowhere to make a sequel.
Exactly.
They ended. I think they ended it good enough.
Yeah.
Where I'm sure it'll get better over time or something.
And also
and also the world will be riddled with blind people.
Mm-hmm.
The new world after like the monsters leave or whatever. It's gonna be like 60% blind, 40%
It's not even when the monsters leave. It's just like eventually humans are just gonna adapt to be blind, and because that's how evolution works. So like eventually you're gonna have like a whole generation of people that are just blind, and the monsters will be like, all right, I guess we'll just chill here now.
Yeah, I don't know. Water is pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's no reason for the monsters to really leave, or actually, I mean.
Well,
unless they need to kill people
if they're Lovecraftian horrors, they I guess they would just travel through the fourth dimension and go somewhere else.
Pretty much. Maybe do another like multiverse dimension where people can see.
Another Earth.
Another Earth where people can see, and just do it all over again.
Yeah.
This time hopefully like with more creative kills.
Yeah, on like the some of the kills in the beginning, I loved watching that lady crawl into a flaming car and then it just explode for some reason.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm really glad that it didn't wind up being like The Happening. I don't know. Have you seen The Happening?
No.
I'll put those videos in the description for those of you who haven't seen The Happening. But basically, it is the worst M. Night Shyamalan film ever, and it's the greatest unintentional comedy ever made. It's Mark Wahlberg and Zooey Deschanel, and it's this plague, and people are just killing themselves for no reason, and they keep showing the mass suicides, and it's the funniest thing. like there's one clip where this zookeeper just yeets on into a lion cage, or no, tiger. It's a lion or a tiger, and both of his arms are just like ripped out, and he just stands there like. Just another guy just like walks in the middle of an open field, just lies down in front of a combine. It's great. They're all great. And in that movie, it's because of plants instead of like Lovecraftian monsters.
I was thinking of a Nicolas Cage movie where, what's it called? God came and collected his souls, and then those who were left on Earth were sinners.
I'm gonna look up Nicolas Cage apocalypse movie now.
No, it's Chris. It's fine.
I need to find out whatever. I'll find it later and link it somewhere. But yeah, no. I think in terms of its title, it fulfilled its promise.
Birdbox. There was a box.
It's literally a minute in. It did not waste its time getting its title.
A minute in, they established a box full of birds.
Exactly.
Which were drowned.
Oh my god!
Can we talk about how those birds were like subjected to below water conditions?
Yeah,
freezing water conditions.
Yeah, how the birds like had no chance.
Minutes.
The birds had no chance in hell ever.
Also, I wanted them to establish how they got the second set of birds, because the first set of birds were frozen to death in a very nice looking freezer because everyone knows the gays have nice houses.
True. Oh no, that house was beautiful.
Yeah, and
That
guess
house
what?
was
It was owned by
gorgeous.
2 gay men
Also, I'm
who
very
wanted to build a greenhouse.
I'm very disappointed that BD Wong it was killed off way too soon.
Yeah, I
love him.
I also wish I really wish they didn't do the dumb thing and have people kill themselves through screens.
Exactly.
Because like that would have been like kind of a solution to their problem, but like I don't know. Then it could have looked a bit less. No, that would have looked a lot more dumb.
Yeah.
If people were walking around with like VR headsets and just like streaming like the camera app to their own faces, and just being like, "Oh, I am a friend."
I feel like eventually, like some tech developer, like would just come out, like
It's the anti-kill yourself.
it really
filter.
would. It would be. It like someone.
It transmutes the 4th dimension into 3-dimensional objects.
Like you know someone like
You would just be kind of upset instead of killing yourself.
you would kind of see the monster, but not really.
You'd see the monster's true form, and instead of your brain becoming completely irrational, you'd just be upset for the next hour.
You just go home and have deep existential thoughts for the next few days.
You'd
but
wonder,
you wouldn't die.
what mother could love a face like that? And then you remembered you were looking in a mirror.
What I like most about... What annoys me about the monster, and what I like most about
Is
the
that you
monster...
don't get to see it.
Yeah. Well, no, that's not the part that annoys me. I love that you don't get to see it because it's interpretable.
Yeah.
You can think, oh, maybe it's like something that's subjective.
Yeah.
Maybe the monster is like
because
it's a
people
changeling.
would whisper like "Mom," like right before they killed themselves,
Yeah.
which made no sense because then Gary established the monster was just some horrific looking pile of garbage with teeth.
I feel like that might have been at the end. It's like if someone looks at Cthulhu and thinks, "Daddy," like of course I think of Cthulhu.
Yeah. Cthulhu is my daddy, but that's a
Cthulhu.
different concept. That's a different context.
Exactly. Oh my God,
bed.
what would that even be like with Cthulhu? Would you?
Oh my God, he'd give the best head. Are you kidding?
He would, man.
All those tentacles.
You transcend dimensions.
Yeah.
You literally would.
He would just like plop his gross tentacly face on your groin, and you would be like, "All right, I'm good for the next 50 years."
See, what I find really funny about like Cthulhu as a concept is that people always like say that, oh my God, could you imagine? Like I've heard people say, could you imagine if like Cthulhu dropped from like the 4th dimension and you just like were doing your thing and you saw him like in like over the sky, just walking around, and then he'd destroy everything. It's like Cthulhu's not Godzilla. Like
Cthulhu is the whole idea of Cthulhu is not that it's a physical representation; it is horror embodied.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what Cthulhu is, and I guess that's what this movie is trying to convey.
Yeah, I've heard people also say that the film is like a metaphor for like mental illness and like depression.
No,
what are your thoughts?
No.
I don't think so either.
No, I mean there's like. There's nothing that points to that.
I mean, this is the biggest thing that's come out since 13 Reasons Why. So I think people...
I don't know about that.
It's the biggest thing Netflix has put out since then. The biggest, like, mainstream thing. Like, every
New
year...
IP, I'd argue.
Yeah. No, but, like,
okay.
When you think about it, every year Netflix has, like, a big thing that people, like, gravitate to.
Okay, that's fair.
Like, 2016 was Stranger Things.
I cannot wait for 13 Reasons Why Season 3, because I know it's going to A, happen, and B, be terrible.
Did you ever finish it?
Yeah.
I only watched the last episode.
The episode when they're like, "You're cleared of all charges, Bryce," and then they're like, "You're under arrest for rape."
No,
because that's how the law works.
It's not even that. It's the ending.
Although I guess technically it would be. Yeah, never mind.
So for context, over the summer, Ben and I decided to watch 13 Reasons Why Season 2 because we'd watched Season 1 independently.
And
we barely got through 3 episodes.
Yeah.
It was...
I finished the whole thing twice.
You did? How?
Yeah. I watched it once because I was like, I heard this is a good show.
Wait, Season 1 or Season 2?
1, and I haven't watched 2 again.
Okay, good.
There's only like 2 episodes I liked in Season 2.
Because with Season 1, at least it's like you can sit down and watch it, and it's like somewhat bingeable.
It's fine.
Yeah, like it's good.
Like, I don't like how they represented depression.
Not at all.
Because in my opinion, Is this just a discussion on 13 Reasons Why now?
I think we should just talk about Netflix stuff.
We're gonna yeah, sure, why not?
We're at like half an hour now.
This is the Netflix special. You got our take on Bird Box. Let's give our final thoughts.
And how much blood can we really squeeze from the Birdbox stone?
Just as many as there's only 3 birds in there. Yeah. They were all frozen to death in that water. They're cold, icy, wet graves inside a cardboard box held by girl.
Birdbox. Birdbox, 3 birds, 3 act structure. Not really. Birdbox didn't really have one at all.
Okay. The problem with the structure was
we'll get back to Netflix soon. We just need to talk about the structure of Birdbox first.
The problem with Birdbox is that you know the ending at the beginning, and everything that happens until the ending isn't important.
There are some movies that can pull off the whole ending before the beginning.
Well, the thing is, they just meshed it together because, like, what happened? Like, what you should have done is, like, you should have not been able to infer much of what happened.
Yeah.
They should have just started on the river, not like, you guys gotta listen to me. They should have been like, we gotta get on the boat right now! So, like, you don't know if everyone's dead or, like, what happened. You just know something happened.
Yeah, exactly.
But, like, she was calm and collected enough to, like, sit her kids down and be like, this is what we're gonna do.
It's like, yeah, I really like that opening scene. Where she's like, this
I didn't like that opening scene.
She was like, it's just a place, we gotta go. Like, it really kind of got you in it quick.
They should have just been, like, running with blindfolds on and been like, we have to go right now.
Yeah, and also, like, if they started it like that, where it's just like a rush, first off, you get the audience invested right away. And there's also no say of, like, oh, was it the monsters, or did John Malkovich turn out to be an asshole? It's like, what?
And they should have just put, like, gunshots in the background and established the shotgun, so then you're like, I don't know what's going on, like, something spooky like that.
Wait, but, like, who would be the shots going off in the background?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, like, what's it called? Her black new husband died.
Yeah, true. Oh, yeah. Oh, maybe he, like, killed himself right in the opening, and that's when they get the fuck out of there.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There just should be gunshots and tension.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, all right, we gotta get on a boat. Aha!
Well, like I'm all for movies starting slow if that's what you're going for, but it's not what Bird Box was going for, because literally in the next scene, Sarah Paulson...
It slows it all down to talk about her pregnancy.
Sarah Paulson and her are driving, and she's just like, oh man, why don't we get them horses? Oh god, what is that? And then it's just like explosions and like bumping and like...
No. They see someone like crash their car, and then they get to the hospital, and they're like, oh, that's spooky. And then people started killing themselves right after that.
Man, I just realized Sarah Paulson was kind of wasted too in this movie.
Yeah, she just killed herself.
Well, no, not only she just killed herself, all of her dialogue was about horses.
Horses and her pregnancy.
Yeah,
that was all it was about. But okay, Chris, would you want people to watch Bird Box?
You probably already watched it, but I would recommend it to a degree. It's worth watching. I'm not saying it's terrible, but just know you're gonna see a very dissonant, very like split down the middle film, and you're not really gonna know what to think of it. You're gonna like parts of it. Like I liked, I thought the concept was cool.
Agreed.
I thought that the stuff on the boat, like the idea of them just being stranded in a river, just on a boat.
The dude on the boat was when he tried to like rip them off. That was cool.
Yeah, I like that. Like this movie's filled with great scenes.
It had good parts.
Yeah, but
it just kind of squandered a lot of like what they needed.
Exactly. And
because there was just a lot of periods of just like get the fuck on with it.
like if you really like if you have nothing else to watch.
Watch Bird Box. It's not badly made.
But I'll let you know right now.
It looks good.
If you've watched The Walking Dead, It Comes at Night, The Mist.
Well, those are all better movies.
Those are all Season 1 of The Walking Dead.
Season 1 of the... Okay. Let's just stop. Season 2, it's a little worse. Anything past that, don't even bother.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point.
Pretty much. Like, Season 1 of The Walking Dead, The Mist, and...
Still running that show?
They are. Yeah, they're on...
Okay.
No, apparently, like, they got rid of Rick Grimes, and now they're, like, making a trilogy of movies about Rick after he left the group.
Alright.
Which is a whole thing. But, yeah, Season 1 of The Walking Dead, It Comes at Night, or The Mist. If you've seen any of those, you're just gonna see what you've seen already. What would you give it out of 10?
I don't know. 5?
I'm gonna give this one a 6 out of 10.
A 5 out of 10. Yeah, it's okay. It's good made. It looks good.
It good made.
Yeah.
It good made.
It good made. Act is good. I don't remember any of the music. I don't remember like even like a tune. I don't remember anything.
Yeah, you're right. And like I know you didn't see Spider-Verse, but like with like I know two completely different movies, but like you know, I'm gonna draw a better comparison.
All right. So anyway, watch the movie if you have a free time.
Exactly.
And if you don't. It's not worth it.
I want to go back to music.
Masturbate or something.
Real quick though. Hereditary's score. I remember more of Hereditary's score.
I remember being very spooked by Hereditary's score. I was just like, ha, oh, something's happening. And then I'm a ghost.
We have to talk about Hereditary.
We'll talk about it. That's a different
That's gonna be a whole episode. So
Netflix shit.
Yeah, Netflix stuff. So yeah, we were talking about 13 Reasons Why. If any of you haven't watched it, just don't.
My biggest problem with 13 Reasons Why is Hannah.
Yes.
That is my biggest problem.
Yes.
For the writers of the show, I've never read the book. I don't care about it because it might as well not exist when talking about the TV show.
Like, it's different.
I'm sure it's the same, but like...
And also, they didn't write a sequel to the book. So, basically, half of the material the show's covered so far is completely fabricated.
Well, that's fine. Season 2 is allowed to be its own thing.
Oh, it is.
My biggest problem with Season 1 is that Hannah never gives signs that there's a problem.
Yeah, true.
She just kind of kills herself because something happened.
Yeah.
She got raped, but like...
No, like, I'll admit...
Rape's not funny.
I'll admit...
Oh, no, we're laughing about rape. Oh, we're bad people.
It's more of a nervous laugh, really, because like, this is going out to the world. You good? Ben's dying of tuberculosis, everybody.
Hey. All right.
Tuberculosis isn't funny. Oh, God. We're just hitting on a bunch of...
All right, guys, if you think it's funny, leave it in the comments if you think TB's funny.
Give us a like.
Get your TB test. It
love...
sucks, but please get it.
I would love to see like a 19th century stand-up comedian. Like, hey, what's the deal with this tuberculosis thing?
What's the deal with tuberculosis?
And people are like, I'm dying.
That's hilarious. And they just fall over and like 3 people die, and they're like, crack up job today, Steven. There's 2 people die.
You knocked him dead.
You knocked him dead. The whole front row passed out because they were the only ones that could hear you because we don't have microphones yet.
And then at the next show, like, the widows show up, and it's really
and
awkward.
They also die. Yeah, but Hannah Baker is just... She just kind of kills herself.
Nice segue, by the way.
Yeah.
From TB to Hannah Baker.
I think they're connected.
From TB to HB. Haha. God damn it.
Son of a bitch.
They're both deadly to everything around them.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, let's just talk about how Hannah Baker made 3 people contemplate suicide.
Pretty much, yeah. And, like...
If you're not aware, it's Justin, the kid with the bleached hair, and also Clay.
Yeah.
They all attempted suicide in the first season because of Hannah Baker, because she was like, I'm gonna kill myself, then leave a bunch of notes telling everyone how bad they are.
Also, I gotta say...
Even my good friends, who I love.
Not even that. Even my good friend, who I told to leave, and then when he left, it was like, well, you left, why'd you leave me? And it's like, because you told me to.
But, like, I wanted scenes where, like, they were like, Hannah Baker's, like, not showing up to class, and... Like, she's, like, hurting herself preemptively. Like, no one just slits their wrists out of nowhere.
Yeah, well, no, it's not even that it's out of nowhere. It's that the show really, like...
She just acts like an edgy teenage girl.
Well, no,
it's
the fact...
ends herself.
It's the fact that, like, her suicide was
end herself.
It was
we can't say kill ourselves.
Game end. You're game ended. It's so premeditated to the point where it almost feels unbelievable. Like, it loses all believability, because it's like, do you have any idea how long those tapes are?
Yeah, those...
They last the span of an episode, so let's say 45
they're
minutes.
They have 45 minutes minimum each tape, talking about how each person is a horrible human.
Like, we're at 38 minutes right now. If this whole podcast... We're doing one episode. If I only talked about how I wanted to kill myself for this whole podcast, by the end of it, I'd be like, I'm not really feeling it.
So, like, 13,
Maybe.
So 13's pretty close to 12, and every 4 episodes would be 3 hours. So it would be upwards of 10, 15 hours recording and editing tapes of herself.
Exactly.
To tell people why she killed herself.
Exactly.
And the actions they did.
Yeah, like, I get it as a concept, but it almost seemed like it's
I get why, because it's, it's starting a conversation. But
we got to start the conversation, everybody.
But she just kind of, like, there was no signs. Right, there's symptoms of depression, and she showed none of them. She cut her hair. And then she was like, haha, I'm a bad new bitch with a short haircut. And then she was like, I'm gonna kill myself. Whoa!
I always bring this up whenever I talk about 13 Reasons Why. With you and with everyone in my life, and if anyone who went to college with me is hearing this, you know where this is going, and you're gonna say, Chris, shut the fuck up about that goddamn horse show. But BoJack does that whole downward spiral thing better.
In every season, they had put a better representation of mental illness out than 13 Reasons Why does.
Like, even the most recent season, right? Like, where
it was drug addiction, which is debatably a mental. My sister thinks it is. I would argue that it is not.
It's more of a byproduct of one. It's like you have.
That's also not. You could have just been like, oh, I hurt my back, I got to take opioids, and be like, man, I really like this shit. Which, if you've ever taken opioids,
I'm with you there. It wisdom teeth removal.
One time I accidentally took 2 at lunch, and I was out. I fell asleep on the bus, and I had like a 4-minute bus ride. It was great.
Wait, was that when you got in that car accident?
No.
Oh.
I broke my toe. I didn't have a surgery in my head.
But anyway, yeah, like it just kind of tracks. Like there are even other shows that track the whole like downward spiral thing better than 13 Reasons.
Yeah, I mean, you could even say like Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
but
or even
in
even
terms
shows
of just depression.
Yeah,
like there's not a lot of shows that really. Or at least not shows I've seen that deal with specifically depression.
You haven't seen Mr. Robot.
I haven't seen all of it.
Yeah, but like even Mr. Robot kind of handles like the downward spiral mental illness takes you down.
Yeah,
better than that. Like even
you can I've watched a few episodes and you can tell that he is not mentally okay.
Yeah,
things are wrong and off all the time.
Each season he's trying to like regain control of himself.
I know,
and he's just failing consistently. He gets better at it, but then it's like up and down and up and down.
Yeah,
and with I feel like it is good to start a conversation, like the show says it's trying to do,
but it doesn't say anything worthwhile.
It doesn't say anything that you already know.
Have you ever? Did you watch? No, you haven't watched all of season 2.
I've watched the finale.
It is the most ham. Their moral lessons are so ham-fisted, it makes me want to die.
Yeah, which is ironic.
There's literally an entire scene where they're like trying to explain consent, but it's like it's the scene where they explain consent. It's not like like they did it in a clever and smart way.
Yeah. It's like it's good that you're talking about it, but you're just talking about it. You're not
I'm hearing the same shit I heard in health class.
Mm-hmm.
We the whole point of a show for teenagers and young adults, and it's to talk about what does that really mean?
It's literally to start a conversation. That's what you're trying to do.
I had in a fraternity, and I had to do a little lesson in campus policy, and I found out that that legally speaking, implied consent exists only sometimes.
Oh yeah, no, I'm my school had a whole crash course on consent and all that.
Yeah,
it's
it's been fed to you 100 times. You need to you need something better.
It's not even that. It's
yes means yes, no means no.
I get it if the show's obviously meant for teens, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of teens don't really know consent, or they're not really learning about it, and it's a good
a big thing now because Trump and Hollywood and Kevin Spacey. Oh, rip Kevin Spacey.
Oh my god.
I know those young boys got diddled, but
no, he's in jail or not in jail. He's been formally charged. We talked about this last time.
I know. I follow the news,
and
by news I mean the Daily Mail. And if you've ever wanted to just see pornography, go to the Daily Mail.
We're continuing Ben's hatred of the Daily Mail.
Every episode I'm going to mention the Daily Mail.
I cannot wait until we get a cease and desist from the Daily Mail.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be the best.
I'm going to run their reputation into the ground.
Best episode ever. It's gonna be
I
episode
can
45.
I can probably go on for at least 20 minutes about why I hate the Daily Mail.
Dude, we could actually like
Anyway.
we could have our podcast be the trial. Really, if we wanted to, it'd be like a radio drama
Of the
Daily Mail. That'd be
Well,
great.
what did Chloe wear?
God. Do you know anyone named Chloe? I've never met a Chloe in my lifetime. I feel like that's such like a
white girl name?
no, like a bougie like celebrity name. Like I've never met anyone named Chloe.
I don't think I have.
Well then, that's a topic for another day, I suppose.
Well,
Whenever
we fucking haven't met.
If your name's
Chloe, please hit me up. At Ralph Seppi.
at Ralph the Movie Maker. Yeah, shout out to Sardonicast if you are listening, which we know you're not. We know you're not.
Chris, don't embarrass yourself.
Yeah, no, I'm trying not to. God damn it. I'm not cutting any of that out. But
anyway, what other? I mean, we obviously don't like 13 Reasons Why, and we think it's problematic.
let's talk about stuff on Netflix that is good. We
Nothing.
No, there's some
Case
stuff.
closed.
Stranger Things is okay. I don't mind.
Did you
Stranger
watch
Things.
season 2?
Yeah, I did. Did you?
I saw part of it, and then I was kind of like, I don't. Stop showing me Elle. I don't give a fuck. I know it's kind of mean, but I didn't really care much for her, like, storyline.
I wasn't okay. No, it's not that I didn't like her storyline. It's just that part of what made it engaging in the first place was that it was her interaction with the normal world with the boys.
Yeah.
And then in season 2, it's just her and like
in a fucking cabin.
yeah, it's just her in a cabin. And then eventually she gets out, and then she like meets her sister.
Not her. It wasn't her sister.
It was
her experimentee buddy.
Her soul sister. They meet up in like where was it, like Detroit?
They just meet up in some gross city in a warehouse, and they're like, "You want to go break laws, little
and
girl?"
It's completely like off the beaten path from what they were.
It has nothing to do with.
It's nothing to do with it.
It has nothing. I wish. Like they could have even kept the same actors. I don't care. I wish they didn't make a sequel to season 1.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the best approach would have been to do an anthology, really.
What is it, vignette? I don't know what it is.
No, anthology.
Anthology, right?
Yeah,
right.
Like I don't like American Horror Story very much, but like American Horror Story,
where every season is completely disconnected from the other ones, and that's okay.
With some actors overlapping.
Stranger Things, it's a very general title, right?
Yeah, you could have
you couldn't make BoJack Horseman an anthology. It's about BoJack Horseman.
Yeah,
but like Stranger Things could have just every season, just something different. Because like I liked the kids and I liked season 1. I liked it a lot. I thought it was great. But I don't understand why we have to keep following Will into this.
Not even that.
The ending was fine. I even liked when he spat up the gross stuff.
It's just a constant... Yeah, that's a good, bookend. It's like, oh, this is always going to follow this kid no matter what.
Yeah.
That's a nice, haunting final image. But then you have this...
Then season 2 came out.
No, you have this issue with... people where they're like, oh, we need more and more and more. We need sequels. We need this. And that's why,
more Star Wars.
And that's why you get, a Star Wars Episode 8 or an Incredibles 2 or an inevitable Birdbox 2.
I was waiting for Incredibles 2. I knew that was going to happen. It teased it, and, it was a franchise they could have made. I don't know why the hell they made it 15 minutes after the first fucking movie.
Yeah, no, if we're getting into Incredibles 2 now, I could go all on about that. It's
they should have just pushed it 15 years in the future, and they could have had the same plot, and I would have had a lot less problems with it.
Exactly. Also, yeah, we've talked about this several times. Mr. Incredible sounds like he's on his deathbed.
If you watch Incredibles 1 shortly before you watch Incredibles 2, you're like, holy crap, their dad is now 70 years old, and the voice actor is 80.
Yeah, in the first one, he sounds so rigorous.
He didn't sound. He sounded like a dad.
Yeah.
He sounded like a young man who's just not a young man, but an older person.
He sounded middle aged.
Yeah, he sounded middle-aged person. Yeah. And he's just like, these are my kids, blah blah blah.
And
then you watch Incredibles 2, and he's just like, get me out of my wheelchair so I can pick up the train. And you're like, what the shit?
I think it's his first line is we gotta take down the Underminer. And it's are you
take down the Underminer? And you're like,
are you okay?
It gets better throughout because he gets more tired just like the voice actor.
Also, can we talk about how, like, the Underminer at the end of the first movie
How
is...
Black Don't Crack.
Yeah.
What's his name? Sounded exactly as Frozone.
Yeah, Black Don't Crack!
Frozone sounded exactly the same. I couldn't tell a single difference. What the hell is this?
Samuel L. Jackson,
Samuel L. Jackson. Chris, I don't know freaking actors.
Samuel L. Jackson has
He's
aged.
going to live forever.
He is.
I think he's just going to die looking like he does now, with his ha ha smile on his face.
Like other black actors. Like, have you seen Morgan Freeman? Like, his pictures of him as a kid.
He just gets more white haired.
Pretty much, and more freckles.
More freckles.
That's it.
More freaking freckles.
That's all. But yeah, Incredibles 2. But yeah, the Underminer's plan. At the end of the first movie, he's like, "Behold, I am the Underminer. I'm gonna destroy the world." And apparently, destroy the world translates to, "I'm gonna rob this fucking bank."
Yeah,
That's all that happens.
He just robs a bank and then goes away.
Yeah, like he never comes back.
He causes so much damage.
Yeah,
he could have just mined underneath the bank and stolen the vault that way, because that was his original plan.
I also don't know.
Remember, he has a smaller mine.
Yeah.
Thing. So we could have just used that smaller thing and stolen the bank vault and then just left.
But nope, he
has to
collateral.
But he has to get his giant one out, so we can destroy this main street and, I don't know, cause El Jefe's seafood restaurant to suffer for a few months while the roads get repaired.
Yeah, no, I would think that, like, the federal government would be after him.
Yeah.
Instead,
they're just like, it happened.
It's all good. But yeah, I don't back when, like, the GameCube and the PS2 was, like, a big thing. Like, they came out, it was, like, right around the time they came out with the Incredibles video game. They made the Incredibles Rise of the Underminer.
Oh.
And it was, like, a video game follow-up to the movie, and it, like, picked up right where it left off.
Yeah.
Obviously. And
so now we're crossing canons here.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest problem with Incredibles 2. It crosses the canon of Incredibles Rise of the Underminer, the video game for PS2.
It's not even that.
So you need to stop what you're doing, and you just go tweet at Samuel L. Jackson.
Just him.
Just him. By the way, no one else worked on this movie.
Samuel L. Jackson was just playing all the characters. That's why Mr. Incredible sounded so old. He couldn't do a proper impression of him.
He couldn't do a proper old white guy impression.
But, yeah, so, like, that kind of does that whole storyline. It wraps that whole thing up. So, like, if they really wanted to open Incredibles 2 like they did, they could have just stole that.
I wish it was about Violet and Dash.
No, but, like, what I'm saying is, like, they could have just, like, done that, put Rise of the Underminer on screen, and then that's the opening. Like, that's, like, the stinger to get you into it. And then the real Incredibles 2 proper starts. Kind of like how the first...
If they just put, like, 15 years later...
Yeah. Whoa.
God damn it, Chris.
I almost kicked over my computer. Anyway.
You considered not doing that.
Yeah, I know.
I'm glad that's going to be part of our audio now.
Just break... This is great. I almost broke 2 things today. 2 things that I need, really, to live. Yeah, my laptop...
You need this to live?
Well, pretty much, yeah. Because
that's racist.
It is. Sorry, Bill Gates.
It's Lenovo. It's the Chinese now. You know?
Sorry.
Although this is an older Lenovo, so it was probably made in... Where did Lenovo... I think it was like Lithuania or something crazy.
Sorry, Bruce Lee. I don't know. Anyway.
I wish Incredibles 2 was something different.
Agreed.
Because I didn't like the way they took it. Like, I liked the action and it looked great, and I think it was visually an improvement. But, like... I don't know, it disappointed me for being Incredibles 2. I was super hyped for it.
Like, another thing, too, like, the whole thing with the villain, like, they tried to, I mean, I would have liked it a lot better if like, Bob Odenkirk was the villain.
I wish they were both the villains.
That would have been so much cooler.
They could have just changed it just a little bit and been like, we have to, like, both Bob Odenkirk and the other dude, other lady, were like in partners in crime, and they were like, this is incredible, don't worry, no one's getting hurt, this is necessary for the future of supers, and like it would be like an actual moral conflict, and it like talked about, and like it could discuss, you know, like the means to an end dilemma.
Exactly.
But instead it was just like, oh, should we have superheroes and that wasn't the point of Incredibles 1.
Yeah, exactly.
The point of Incredibles 1 was to ask, like, the participation trophies, question mark?
No, I like... Part of what I appreciated about the first Incredibles was that it was, like, kind of like a perfect 3-act structure, and all the characters' arcs kind of, like, wrapped up. And then in Incredibles 2, it's just the first film backwards again.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, it just starts at the end, and then, well, first off, Mr. Incredible is, like, kind of a dick, too.
In 1 or 2?
In 2. Like in the first one, he's like, I'm doing all this for my family, and then his wife gets to be a superhero, and he's like, you suck. So...
No, Chris, just keep responding to messages. We're not recording a podcast.
True. Goddamn. Yeah.
They're gonna be there when we're done. Don't worry, we're cutting that out.
True. What?
So,
cutting what out? All of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That little exchange there.
And
we're going to pick it up right at that blip at the edge of the screen right there, so, like, no one really knows what we're talking about.
Sounds good.
This is gonna be, like, a really hard cut. I want to be a loud noise.
Mm-hmm. Bwong! There we go. So, do you have anything else about Birdbox or Netflix or anything you'd like to talk about?
Dear
Oh, have you watched that?
No.
Oh.
Why would I watch that?
It's
incredibly racist.
That is the next podcast. We should watch all of that by the time
now
we
that
do
I've made this very bold statement.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait for, like, a weird text from someone.
We should definitely...
I cannot believe you said that.
Well, then again, this episode is just going to be called, like, Birdbox or something, so no one's really going to notice. But if I have episode 3, Dear White People is racist, then you're going to get.
Okay, how is that not, like, the title alone should be cause for concern?
Yeah.
Dear White People, not like Dear Prejudiced People. And, like, it tries to educate people and, like, oh, why is racism bad? And, like, the effects it had. No. It's Dear White People.
It's just
implying
white
that
people.
every white person ever causes these problems.
It's just doing it wrong. You're doing it.
I don't want to go watch Dear White People because that means I have to support them. And that is
How many seasons are they at? Like 2, 3?
Yeah, they have, like, 2 seasons out.
Really? Damn.
And, like, it's roasted every time because it's literally calling out white people as if every single white person nowadays is the devil.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as we are.
Yeah.
Because we're white.
We are called...
no other... Remember, if you're a white man and you're not actively whipping yourself in the back with a belt...
Or gay.
What?
Or gay. Like, if you're a straight white male, you're basically, like, screwed.
No,
screwed.
white male.
Just white male?
Yeah. Even if you're gay, you have too much privilege.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, you need to be a black, half-Asian, Spanish, disabled, pansexual, toasterkin, with 3 eyes and all the genitals.
And you'd better have... I'll bet you right now, there's going to be, like, something coming up.
And then you can finally claim that...
There's going to be something coming up about how, like, people with skin tags are oppressed. Or something.
It's going to
be something super subjective.
It's going to be like women with skin tags are treated 3 times worse than women without skin tags. Skin tag privilege.
Published by the Daily Mail.
No, it's going to be by Cosmo.
Or Vice.
Oh, yeah, Vice. Vice is the big... Have you ever seen that gif of... It's like someone in the Vice offices and they're like, oh, I don't know what to write about, and they get dildos and they throw them behind themselves at a whiteboard, and it's just like, drug dealers, Venezuela, transsexuals, and then they show an actual Vice articles. It's just like the hidden lives of transsexual Venezuelan drug dealers, and you're like, who the hell was paid to write this? All right, we're gonna try to find that video and we're gonna link it. But thank you all for watching this,
and listening. Fuck. You know, technically this is on YouTube, so they are just watching like our logo.
All right, cut it off.
Good night, everybody.